all of the donations that are made to that prize pool will be going towards the winners of the tournament.
And yeah, it's not going to be exactly 1 hour. Timers pause between loading zones, so their timers will definitely get out of sync. But
all right,
still have essentially 1 hour of actual gameplay time.
Ooh, Frog gets meteor meal, so that's 40 coins right there for Frog. And Dale, I think he forgot where the back of the house was.
Ben actually goes to the right to check the item on top of the roof.
Oh, that's actually not a bad strat.
So if you see that it's a good item, one that's worth a good amount, like whether it's an ultra shroom, depending on most players prefer to get items within like the 75 plus range, but if you see an item that's within your threshold, they would actually go around and get it, and if it's not, they'll just reload and go up and grab whatever second.
Correct. Paper Mario Extreme 1 hour game time minus load zone times challenge doesn't quite have the same range.
I have a difficulty saying the whole 1 hour challenge extreme blah 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 every single time.
Me.
It's not hitting.
Me too. It's a lot of words.
Ben,
whoa, Ben!
Really quickly.
Dang. That's like in the first. That's in the first 2 minutes too. That's really good for Ben.
The usual strategy, both that you want to go for in this, is you actually have 20 minutes before the bosses spawn. So
look, it's the room I hate. With all of my fibers of my being.
You generally want to run through, grab all the items you can, sell them for money, and get all the badges, and for whatever strat you're going for, then spend the last 40 minutes running through bosses.
Alright, Frog Puppet doing nifty bobbery strat there. What you can do is you can actually set bobbery up to explode at a certain point in the wall, and that will actually trigger the shine sprite block from behind the shop. Oh, don't even get me started on Merle's room. That needs to go. That needs to go.
No one uses Merle.
No. Like, she was actually removed, and Zeph added her back in because people complained that she was removed.
She serves like zero purpose. I mean,
yeah, no.
Unless you know the RNG like the back of your hand, and you can't really plan out for her at all.
I mean, and not only that, but you can't really plan out like what buffs she'll give you. Ooh, Ben getting a shooting star. That's going to be good for grinding later, especially if he grinds on the moon with the moon clefts.
Definitely, because that's a 30 coins he doesn't have to spend for one damaging item, which they can actually be very pricey if you start buying a lot of them. It may only be 30 coins at first, but if you buy 5, that's already 150 coins blown.
Ooh, dalerben choosing to go to the DOU04 key, which it's the debatable choice.
Frog go ahead and grab the super hammer right away, which is fair enough. You don't know if you're actually gonna load into the boot room with the super boots and then get back to the main room, to the starting room to get ultra hammer. So if you come across super hammer, you can just grab it, because then atomic boot will be available even if you don't get back and grab this ultra hammer.
I think if anything, you should always try to grab the super hammer whenever possible. And if you can... Oh, speaking of, Ben just pulled TOU1 as well. So he's getting himself the super hammer. So both of them will be set up for atomic boo really quickly. But as I was saying, it's usually a good idea to go to TOU01 to grab the super hammer so that you have something to use against atomic boo. Because you can't get the ultra hammer without the ultra boots, and it's usually good to get those first before the super boots, because the super boots don't really do anything special other than grant you the ability to do a ground pound.
And I'm actually surprised Ben actually skipped it. the thing is, you can leave the super hammer in there, and anytime you load into that room, it'll kick your sequence back to 139, no matter if it's higher or lower.
That is true. There are several rooms that do that, such as GON7, which is the Hooktail Castle key. And it looks like Ben is trying to reload for even more coins. See if maybe he'll find another gold bar times 3. It's unlikely, but who's to say? Frog Puppet getting the double dip, going for the patented Silverlight strat.
Patented Silverlight strat. I fair enough. I'm like, I know some Cappy was using double dip, but I never actually watched him use it.
But I did implement it on my own time. But I can't. I refuse to do a run without it. It's too good if you know how to use it.
Right.
So it looks like Frog Puppet will probably be going Mega Rush P since he went ahead and grabbed that double dip.
That's what I'm thinking. And Ben actually took Mega Rush, the regular Mega Rush. Ooh, Frog Puppet gets a really good Crystal Star opportunity here. And the Crystal Star.
Ben actually getting a Shine Sprite too. That's something you don't really see that often. Something that was changed in this. In the vanilla game, every Shine Sprite's 1, but in this, it was changed to every Shine Sprite you grab is actually 3. Since it's very unlikely to actually grab 3. So you can actually get back to Goro 2 and actually upgrade your partner without having to be lucky and find 3. Which is 5 points if you upgrade your partner.
Alright, looks like Frog's gonna finally leave that room. So the reason why you guys didn't see Crystal Stars until like just now is because Crystal Stars don't actually spawn until 5 minutes after game starts. There's also some other fail safes, like you can't spawn into the pit until 10 minutes have passed, and you can't spawn into any bosses, regardless of how early your sequence is, until 20 minutes pass. And so you'll see our players basically doing their runs in stages. This is obviously stage 1 where they're trying to get set up for bosses. Everything they do from for the next 15 minutes is to prepare themselves for bosses. Because as soon as bosses spawn in, like you can spawn in basically at any one, including Shadow Queen. So if you're not ready, that's going to be a 5-point penalty.
And they both actually got Tick 04 really early, which grabbing that black key, if you get into, I don't remember the room number above this, but all the curse chests are actually worth 6 points. This room is the room with the staircase switch actually drops your sequence back down to 14, which is the lowest you can get upon resetting. So it's a really
the second most being TIK 19, which puts you to 15. Those two are the only ones that will allow you to those ones, as well as like obviously having your sequence still being at 8 from the very beginning, but that's very, very, very unlikely going into bosses. So those two are really the only way that you can fight like rare bosses, such as like prologue bosses like Blooper, and then chapter 1 bosses like Gold Fuzzy and Red Bones.
I'm gonna say worst boss to encounter. This seems kind of counterintuitive, but the chapter 1 boss Hooktail would be probably the worst one in my opinion. Not because of like its difficulty, but the cutscene for Hooktail is just way too long. It takes
the battle
3 minutes for one battle.
The battle itself is 2 stages. Basically, you do 10 damage to Hooktail. He tries to bribe you into smelling his feet, and as soon as you refuse, he eats your audience, so he refills all of his health. So it's basically a 2-phase fight. And you can't, you can't like do more than like 10 damage to him. Like it won't actually kill him. All right, Ben, spawning at the moon here. Interesting strat he's got going on here. He blew up a rock that was like right by the cleft. So he's trying to reload for a possible good item right over there.
Frog Puppet actually doing his level grinding in DOU02, which is, it's kind of luck-based because you usually use Flurry to use Gale Force, which only has an 80% chance of actually blowing them all away. But as long as you have an FP item to, like, refill your FP, you can try again, but the things only have 6 HP to begin with. So if one gets stuck behind, it's no biggie, just killing it.
Right. More often than not, ooh, Frog Puppet's
Frog?
gonna have to, yeah, Frog's gonna have to reset the room to get out of that soft lock.
I've never seen that before.
It's happened to me a few times. All right, Ben's got a really good shot, so he'll be able to cash in all those money items he got, including that gold bar ×3.
I'd say Ben is actually good on getting all of his items right here.
Yeah.
A lot of good 50 coin items.
Depending on which strat he goes for, he probably will have enough money. The goal of the 1 hour randomizer, Rockman, is to score as many points as you can in an hour. And as we mentioned previously, certain things are worth points, like having 100 coins, having 10 badges in the badge log, defeating bosses, getting key items, etc. There's a lot of things that contribute to your overall score.
And Ben actually likes to keep his score up, or yeah, keep his points up on the screen. It's kind of difficult to see which one is correlated to which, but for a quick breakdown, you can see exactly what he's getting his points from.
Spazzo, shut up.
Hey, to be fair, I have 1 point over second place, so
He does have a point.
we'll have 2-2-2, 2-2-3, and then 2-3. No, 2-2-4.
All right, so now we get to see which strat Dale or Ben is actually going to be going for here.
I don't think I've ever actually seen him use anything other than power bounce.
Ooh, Frog Puppet getting a shooting star from that encounter. That's going to be really good grinding against these guys, because these guys, like Moonclaps, have 6 HP. Oh, but he chooses to use the Diamond Star instead. That's a little slow compared to just knocking them all out with a shooting star. But it is, then again, it is lower SP, so
And I believe Zeph said that all crystal stars take about 15 to 20 seconds to use, regardless of which one you're actually using.
I want to say that Diamond Star might be one of the slowest. That's just my opinion. Oh, regardless, Frog Puppet levels up and his BP is now 9.
And if he's going for the double dip PM Mega Rush strat, he'll only need 1 more level, then he can just find a shop and get his badges, and then he'll be good to go. If he has enough money for all of them. I'm not exactly sure what his total item list is right now, but you can actually check the board every time. Ooh. Nice.
Ben picking up the Ruby Star.
See, like Ben's been doing, you can actually check that board, and it will tell you exactly what you're going to get for those points. And like everything else, it does randomize every time you reload the room.
Yeah, he's really hoping for a good saleable item on the rewards menu there.
I wonder why, because he does have a good amount of money. Like a really
Oh, okay, so he chose the shooting star, actually. Alright, so he's got all of his power rushes, it looks like. I don't know if he uses the Quake Hammer strat or not. So, fun fact about certain items, they actually do have different prices depending on the shop you sell them in. Two of the most notable ones being Whack-a-Bump. Whack-a-Bump sells for 64 coins in West Rogueport and 100 coins on the Excess Express. And then you've got Jelly Ultra, which is the second highest priced regular item in the game. Or I guess I should say consumable item. And if you sell it at the Twilight Town shop, instead of selling for 150 coins, you will sell for 200. So if you ever find yourself with a Jelly Ultra in Twilight Town, you'll be able to take advantage of that 50 coin increase there.
Ben picks up his Quake Hammer, so that's another item off the list.
All right, so it looks like he is going for the Quake Hammer strat. And these guys have about excuse me. These guys have about 5 minutes left until bosses start spawning in. So they're gonna want to get set up pretty quickly.
And Frog Puppet does have 5 minutes to find a pretty decent shop. He's got his levels. The only thing, other thing that'll be a bit time consuming is actually reloading to find said items.
Which Dale or Ben is doing right now. He hesitated a little bit there. I was wondering if he was eyeballing the Mega Rush P, maybe like doing dual strats, perhaps. Although that's kind of dangerous and also requires a lot of micromanagement.
Yes, it's a hard lesson learned. It's if you're gonna switch up your strats in the middle, you'll probably be a bit unprepared for both of them. Your best is picking what one strat, what you get, and then just taking off with it. Unless you get like Goro 1 and you have 999 coins. And Ben actually picks up his power bout too.
Mm-hmm. I did notice he reset on a boost sheet though.
Yeah, some boost sheets are actually very vital too, especially versus Shadow Queen. So if you get Chet Rippo and drop your HP to 5, you can maybe survive a turn if you have last stand on, but you have to super guard really well.
And almost all of Shadow Queen's attacks are super guardable, barring the one attack where the dead hands drag you under the ground. You cannot super guard that attack. You can normal guard it, but you cannot super guard it.
Yes, and point swaps are actually useful for Power Rush too. If you don't get Chet Rippo, you can drop your FP to 5 and just use a point swap on yourself to get yourself into that danger. Frog Puppet getting Goro 1 himself, so he will be perfectly fine on coins.
Yeah. Not to mention points too. Still sort of unsure what Ben is looking for. I know he's been checking the shop prize list. So I'm guessing he's hoping for a valuable item.
And he may want to get going soon because I think he still has to get his levels. He's only put on 3 power rushes so far. That's not going to get him very far.
No, it's not. And you definitely don't want to be caught with your pants down when the bosses spawn in.
Or your overalls down in this case.
Also, I apologize to everybody I just made yawn. And Ben not having too much luck with these shop prizes there. Maybe best to cut his losses and just leave. I believe he is contemplating that right now.
Yes, you don't want to actually spend too much time just checking out the prize list. If you have coins to get a few items, then you might as well just go for it and go. But again, this is coming from a guy that actually spent 18 minutes in one shop looking for exactly what he needed. So maybe I'm not one to talk.
Shout outs to BOM2.
Shout outs to BOM2 indeed. And NOK00. I spent 16 minutes in that shop yesterday.
Oh, wow. So the Paper Mario 1000-Year Door Extreme Randomizer is kind of OOT Beta Quest in a way. I'm not entirely sure what Beta Quest is, you know?
No idea.
Yeah,
I'm not very knowledgeable and much. Oh, Ben finally actually finding that gold bar ×3. That is...
Wow.
Finally, he gets what he's looking for. I hope it didn't
That's
take him way too long to get it, though.
Yeah, that's a lucky break, but I don't know if it was worth all the time that he spent here. And he looks like he's selling all of his low value items, which is not a good idea. I would definitely be storing those instead.
So it looks like both players will be a little bit unprepared for bosses. Frog Puppet has yet to find his shop, and Ben is actually yet to get his levels.
Yeah, so this is going to be interesting how these guys handle things from here on out. Frog Puppet has about less than a minute until bosses spawn in on his end. Both of them have the exact same sequence, so their sequence is basically set at around chapter 4. So all of the bosses that they can pull are going to be around around that. Actually, I think 148 is that. I think that might actually be before Macho Grubba.
I think it's the storage room.
You're right.
It's one of the
You're
rooms.
right. It is. Yep. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, so it is. So basically, after 40 minutes passes, they'll be able to spawn in any boss from Macho Grubba onward.
Ben finally getting those boost sheets he's been looking for a while.
Yeah. I noticed that he respawned them earlier, like he accidentally reset on them. I wonder if when he did that, he didn't have the money to buy them, probably.
And Frog Puppet is actually in boss time, so
yep.
Unless he may want to actually put some badges on. I don't remember if he actually put some on yet. I know he doesn't really have that many, but it's better to have at least something if you're gonna go into a boss.
I will say Frog is definitely leading in the points. And
Macho Grubba time.
Oh,
okay, he gets it
nope. He's out. He's not having
he
any of that.
He would have to deal 60 damage, and he actually gets a really good shot. So Frog Puppet's just going to chill here for a while, just reload, get his items. Ben still has a few, like a little under a minute to actually find a room where he can grind bubbles in. So he's safe for a little bit longer. There's timers that are pretty out of sync, but that's because Ben was reloading shops. But they're going to slowly get back into sync since Frog Puppet's now reloading for his items now.
While Grubba is easy to super guard, if you don't have the necessary means to defeat him quickly, the fight can take forever.
Yeah, see, you should just like leave it alone. Go get your items rather than spend like 7-8 minutes just killing one boss for 10 points and still not be set up. Because you could just load into another boss after that, or 2 rooms from there, and then you'll be in the exact same situation.
Yeah, the thing about Macho Grubba is every time you do a set number of damage to him that doesn't kill him, he'll basically there will be a dialogue box that pops up, which every time that happens wastes time. So it's easier just to take out Grubba in one hit rather than worry about all of his unnecessary dialogue. Not to mention, after the fight, there's also quite a bit of dialogue too.
Yeah, you have to sit there and just not only that, but you have to like wait for the machine to pop out Prince Mush and all that stuff too. So there's just
it's
nothing
only
you can do.
I'd say it's probably marginally worse in length than
Ben
Hooktail.
actually
Ooh,
himself, Rockhawk.
hey, there we go. Hawkame, you're running wild today, brother.
So
Question is, does Ben have what it takes to dethrone the Hawk?
So Frog Puppet got in that room. It's actually 50% chance if your sequence is lower than Grubba for it to either be Rockhawk or Grubba, I believe. Unless I'm misunderstanding that again. But yeah,
this is actually the Chapter 3 Rockhawk fight. Rockhawk does actually exist out of sequence because you can fight him again.
Yeah, basically just like the vanilla game. If you're rank 1, then you can fight Rockhawk as many times as you want. So same situation here. You can fight him as many times, even if your sequence is really high.
Oh, actually, this is post-Grubba Rockhawk because Jolene was there. All right, dalerben going for the art attack. That's probably going to do at most maybe 12 to 15 damage. And Rockhawk has a total of 40. All right, here he comes. Ooh.
Ouch.
Rockhawk's attacks are also kind of easy to super guard too. All right, that's another 14.
Pretty sure Ben did that on purpose so he could actually drop into danger. So this wasn't nearly as long.
Yeah, you're right. Oh, I hope he has Quake Hammer equipped or something to knock him down. This might be awkward if he doesn't.
Yeah,
one of those earthquakes or shooting stars should do the trick. There we go. All right, time to do the finishing blow. Bam!
Rockhawk is down. That is 10 points for Ben. Even though he went into this with only 16 points, so he's still behind Frog a little bit, but...
Ooh, and Ben also doesn't know that he can reload as soon as the fight's over to save time. That's gonna cost him a couple seconds.
And on Frog Puppet's side, he's still reloading for those items. I saw that he got the point swaps and Mega Rush Ps. He has double dip, so he's just looking for the rest of the items to fill his inventory before he takes off.
So if you got more ingredients for the Power Rush strat, would you still go for the Mega Rush P strat? In other words, if you got like say Power Bounce, Quake Hammer, Shea Rippo, all within like the first 10 minutes.
Is that a question directed towards me personally?
Yes. Yes.
Oh. Well, the thing is, if I saw them on the ground, I honestly wouldn't have even bothered picking them up. Same if I got into Chet Rippo's room, I'd just leave the room. So, as I could have picked him up if I knew that I was going to get all three, but if I just see it sitting there, me personally, I just leave it sitting. I'm too reliant on Mega Rush P. I mean, I can do Power Rush Power Bounce, it's just I prefer doing Mega Rush P.
Oh, wow. Looks like dalerben and Frog Puppet are now tied. dalerben starting to bring in that comeback now. Ben's fought two bosses. First Rockhawk and now Gloomtail. Gloomtail's going to be slightly more difficult, though, because he's got 80 HP and a lot more attack power than Rockhawk.
Yeah, it's going to take Ben a while, because he's only going to do 10 damage per turn.
So, chances are he's probably going to have to burn through a few boo sheets. Alright, here comes the breath attack. Ooh. poison. Poison lasts about, wait, actually lasts 9 turns? Really?
And it looks like Frog Puppet is done, so now he is taking off himself. So Frog Puppet actually does have a really good advantage now because he's fully set up. He's got levels and badges. Whereas Ben has all his stuff, just not the levels.
Right, and Frog gets Grotus. So this is going to be an easy 18 points for Frog. And I say 18 because Grotus and Bowser combined basically give the equivalent of a level up. Dalerben still trying his very best to deal with Gloomtail. He's having to burn through Boo Sheet after Boo Sheet here. That's not very good.
The fact that Ben's gonna be stuck in this battle for a moment is
yeah,
give Frog Puppet quite a good amount of time to actually, you know, he's gonna be able to kill Grotus and Bowser by the time Ben's actually done with this. Maybe. I'm not exactly sure what turn Ben is on, but it's going to take him a while.
All right, and here comes the point swap. And Yoshi is on the attack. 34, 33, 32, 31. Goodbye, Grotus. Another Boo Sheet. Wow.
Frog Puppet actually won't get a level up because the next battle only gets 50. He's on, what, like 46, 47? So he'll be just right before a level up.
Oh, wow. Yeah, you're right. Well, usually they do. Usually they provide a level up if, like, you've got more than 10 star points. Dalerben having to use, I think this is Boo Sheet number 5. Meanwhile, his partners are slowly going down, one by one. And there it is. Finally takes down the dragon.
Ben did have to burn through a lot of his items there. Hopefully he can get a grinding room before he runs into another boss. Because the thing with Gloomtail, he's one of the few bosses that you spawn in the room and then the cutscene triggers right in the room. Some bosses you can walk up to actually start the fight, but Gloomtail, as soon as you load in that room, the fight started.
All right, Ben has 46 points, but is at a very big disadvantage because now he is down to 4 Boo Sheets. We'll see how he decides to handle things from here on out. Both of their timers starting to get a little bit closer together now.
Oh, and Ben actually gets Boo Sheets.
Wow,
Really
what a lucky break.
These are the stock right
what
back
a
up.
Really lucky break.
I think, is he gonna... No, he's not gonna actually buy some point swaps, so he'll have to be careful when he gets in the Shadow Queen. Unless he's gonna make some inventory space right now to make some, or is he just gonna go full Boo Sheets?
All right, Frog Puppet's got all the Mega Rush Ps he can carry on right now.
I noticed Frog Puppet opted for 15 BP because he's actually keeps close call on and P up D down P, so Yoshi won't actually take any damage from environmental damage.
That's a good strat. Always good to have that precaution in place. The last thing you want is a random bucket falling on you to ruin your day.
I'm surprised Ben's actually still reloading.
Reloading, yeah. Me too. Frog Puppet, he's got a lead right now, and it's going to be even wider after he gets the curse chest here. It's going to be 6 points for him.
Frog Puppet actually decided to use both of his shooting stars, even though he has the crystal star.
And even though he spawns in TIK-04, he refuses to use the lowered sequence ability of that blue switch.
I feel it's like because he wants to actually find a level or a room that he can grind in without the risk of actually having to run into a boss.
Probably. All right, and now both of them are below 30 minutes. So exactly 30 minutes left for both of them.
Hopefully, Ben
Frog
can
Puppet's
find
got a
one.
lead.
And he actually gets Atomic Boo.
Oh, yes, he does. And he's got the Super Hammer, so he'll be able to be just fine.
It is a good thing that he actually picked that up, too. This is one of those things that we were saying earlier, that Frog Puppet actually hasn't got the Ultra Hammer. It would have been really risky to actually
Wow,
get
Ben.
another boost sheet.
Ben is the boost sheet king right now. I bet Ben's probably kicking himself for not actually lowering his sequence because he just got 2 different bosses. He's gonna want to keep on the attack if he wants to maintain close proximity with Frog Puppet. There we go. Dalerben netting himself the super boots, and that's gonna. Oh my god.
Oh, right into Groudon.
Oh wow.
Which
He's
gonna give
he
it up.
knows. He knows he can't take that, but man, that is just unfortunate.
I don't think Frog knows that if you use an FP item, and that doesn't work that way with Double Dip, because now Yoshi's at 2 HP, not 1. That's why you don't want to use FP items. I don't really think he knew that,
Yeah, I don't think he knew that either. I think that was just a misplay. Ooh, nice super guard.
Now he's gonna have to find out a way to actually... He could Double Dip again, but he'll be 4 items down. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Does it say in the text for Cake Mix that it actually recovers 1 FP when you eat it? I don't think so, right?
I'm not sure either.
Because that may have been why he used the Cake Mix.
Dalerben pulling a lot of boss rooms, but no bosses to be accounted for. Ben's got 47. Frog Puppet's got 59. Frog's a little stuck on this fight.
And to reply to Kinunten in Twitch chat, Frog Puppet actually used a Cake Mix as his first item for the Double Dip, so he actually recovered 1 FP. So when he used Point Swap on Yoshi, he actually had 2 FP instead of 1, which would have put him right into peril. So he was 1 FP above what he needed to be.
All right, let's see what Ben decides to do this time. LAS-05, also potentially a fight, but he won't be able to do it.
I'm confused as to why Frog Puppet doesn't just go ahead and use Double Dip again on another partner.
That's what I'm wondering, actually.
Well, it looks like he doesn't actually have many.
Oh, there he goes.
Work either, Frog. Well, that works too, actually, because it doesn't. He doesn't really have many items like HP items or random items to waste for the first part of Double Dip, which is something you actually want to keep with you, just for the sake of actually dropping your FP to 1.
All right, finally, Atomic Boo goes down.
So Ben actually got Bomb of 4, but he opted not to actually level in it, even though getting first struck by a Piranha will bring you down into danger mode. I mean, he already is in danger mode, but even if he leveled up, he'd be able to get back down into danger really quickly. Frog Puppet with a nice score.
Nice.
I just noticed, no punch, man. If you use a point swap as your first item on your partner in the double dip, it'll actually change your partner's FP to 5. The number drops down to 1, but it won't actually say you have 1. It won't actually treat it as 1 FP until the first item's actually complete. So if you use point swap on your partner as the first item, then your partner's HP goes to 5. I tested it, and I had a friend test it for me too. So that's the way it works like that. That's why I have to waste a random item first. So it looks like Ben's gonna opt for grinding here on the moon for his levels.
Yeah, but with 25 minutes left, I don't know if that's the wisest choice.
I'm honestly surprised that Ben didn't decide to do BOM 04 because he knows about the Dark Boo in the Poshu Mansion. And he does that one quite well. And the Piranha Plants have the same exact HP. And he has Quake Hammer. Well, actually, never mind. He actually doesn't have levels. Never mind. I understand why he skipped it, because he couldn't actually deal 9 damage in one turn. Even though he has Art Attack, he can only use it once. And I'm not exactly sure what his start SP count was at the time to actually get his said level up. So that's maybe why he actually gave up that room. Even though he does have a lot of damaging items on him at the moment. No problem, no punch, man. I know it's weird because the first item actually drops your FP number to 1, but apparently you don't have one. You don't actually have 1 FP until your first item's done. So there we go. He's just buying a random item to use.
And the cheaper it is, the better. You usually want an item that doesn't restore any FP.
So even though Ben does get a late start for bosses, he could still make a comeback. Most definitely. Ben's actually not going for peril stats. He's going for power rush, power bounce.
Yeah.
And Frog Puppet actually going ahead and grabbing himself the Ultra Hammer. Because why not? It's a free point. So he's actually going to max out on coins again, and then he'll be maxed out for all the points he can get, 4 points. Because you get an extra point for having 999.
Aw.
Ben being nice and cutesy there. We love you too, Ben. We love you too, man.
Alright, I think I'm actually going to take my leave here, because I'm still feeling a little bit tired, especially from earlier.
That's alright, dude. I hope you rest up well.
Yeah, I look forward to a good match tomorrow, and we'll definitely get a game 3.
We'll see about that, man. You sleep well, alright?
Alright.
See you tomorrow, man.
You too.
So as things stand, looks like Ben is still going to go ahead and get a few more level ups. I'm not exactly sure what level he's at right now. And Frog Pup is actually in a really good position to find another boss. He can just keep going for sure. Like, Frog Puppet is all set up and ready to go. There's no reason for him to stop that much. So, he should actually... Yeah, Frog Puppet's run is just basically all RNG at this point. Just depending on what he can find. Ben, on the other hand, as soon as he gets these levels, he can actually take off and do the same. Honestly, one of the worst things you can see when you're actually level grinding is, like we just saw, an enemy that has like a dodge effect or a lucky badge on, because it's really annoying, I guess, the best way to word it, when an enemy actually dodges your attack over and over and over again, because you're essentially just wasting time. Alright, Ben now has 9 BP, so I'm pretty sure he needs still at least one more level. But knowing Ben, I know he likes to get extra BP to keep everything on at once, so he may actually be here for maybe another 2 levels. And Frog Puppet actually getting gone 07, and in this room, you can go ahead and grab the key. This room is a sequence reset if you leave the key, but if you pick up the key, there's a curse chest in the next room, gone 06, and if you actually spawn into that room after grabbing said key, your sequence drops to 44 instead of 43. So essentially just shifts your sequence reset room to the left by just one room. So you might as well go ahead and grab it. So I'm noticing Ben's actually using trade-offs, which is an item that's not actually in the vanilla game. And what it does, it actually ups your enemy's level. It doesn't up their stats though, it just ups their levels so you'll actually get more star points from the enemies for that battle. And Frog Puppet on his side, he's actually got Shadow Queen. I think he actually put on the 8th Mega Rush P, so Yoshi should be able to take her out in one turn. Not in the first phase, obviously. She'll just transform immediately upon losing all of her HP, but it will reset the turn. But when he activates phase 3, once he sets up Yoshi, he's just able to finish her off in one turn. He won't have to worry about using a Bushi in this fight other than the first phase to survive. Just so he can get to the cutscene to make her vulnerable in the last phase. Ooh, Frog Puppet actually does not have 3 FP right now. Or 5 FP, rather, excuse me. Oh, and they actually throw him a shroom cake. Use it, man. She uses lightning on the first turn. So he'll be safe this turn. And Ben's all good to go for bosses on his side, too. The only thing he has to worry about is actually getting back into danger if he levels up. And yes, this is the purpose of why he bought the horse tails. It doesn't really matter what cheap item you buy to use for the first part of Double Dip. As long as it's not something, I've said repeatedly, something that doesn't give FP back. Here's hoping he actually has on all... Oh, well, he actually has a 5th bounce, too. So as long as he charges past that portion, to the light green portion of that gauge, then he'll be fine to take her out in one turn. Frog Puppet might just wanna... He doesn't actually have to Bushi Yoshi here. Yoshi will automatically heal up after the cutscene, even if he ends up fainting. Usually the thing you'll want to do is actually just go ahead and start jumping with Mario and just start using a Bushi with Yoshi.
And I apologize for the cough there. I actually held down my push to talk button instead of releasing it.
Because this is not actually going to speed up the battle any quicker. Correct me if I'm wrong on that, actually. If attacking with Mario, then the partner actually speeds it up. The Frog Puppet actually had to go ahead and use his life shroom there. But he should... You know what? If the Shy Guy drops a pan on her, that's going to end it right now. Yep, there we go. So that's going to go ahead and activate Phase 3, and all Frog Puppet has to do is just double dip Yoshi, and then that'll be it. And Ben actually grabbing himself the black key for the paper curse as well, and dropping his sequence down to 43 upon entering the room. So once Frog Puppet actually defeats Shadow Queen, it does take a good few minutes to actually defeat her from start to finish, but you do get 25 points for her. Most bosses actually give 10, with the exceptions of Shadow Queen being one of them. Bone Tail gives you 30, because it's really rare to find him. And Grotus, the Grotus battle and Bowser Candy battle both give 8. Ben memeing there. Nice, Ben. Very nice. So Ben's actually going to be maxed out on coins too for this run. So that'll score him a few points right there. And this should be the end of Shadow Queen on Frog Puppet's turn. Ben 1 coin short there. There we go. Frog Puppet's actually hesitating for a moment. In the meantime, Ben actually finding himself Bowser, Grotus, and Cammy. I'm not too sure why Frog Puppet decided to use a boost sheet there. Yoshi, with 8 Mega Rushes on, does 156 damage. And now Yoshi's actually going to die. Things are not looking good for Frog Puppet's side, now that Yoshi's down. I wonder if he meant to use that boost sheet on Yoshi, but even then, Yoshi, like I said, Yoshi does 156 damage with 8 Mega Rush Ps on. He's actually trying to think this one through. There is a save, but I'm going to wait till after this battle to say it, as like a little backup strat he can do. But he might just end up waiting this one out and just wait until Shadow Queen event inevitably kills him. Sorry, Frog. Press F. No, 30 points is actually a lot of points. Because 30 points is... Ben actually got a game over himself. I did not actually notice that because I was looking at... What happened, Ben? They both got a game over within the span of 10 seconds from each other. Well, nothing was gained, nothing was lost. They both lost 5 points, so it's like both boss battles didn't even happen to begin with. Ben has died on Grotus before, and his reasoning for that being is he usually has on a lot more power rushes at this time, so he usually calculates his damage wrong and thus uses a regular jump instead of power bounce by mistake. That being said, Grotus usually ends up killing him next turn. Frog Puppet actually getting sequence all the way down to 14, which I've said previously that you can actually get, that's the lowest sequence you can actually reset to. I specifically say reset because you actually start with 8. And I might as well go ahead and say the save that Frog Puppet could have done on that Shadow Queen fight was actually switch out for Goombella instead and just use a Bushi and point swap on her. Since she'll still do 82 damage in 1 turn, so we just have to survive 2 turns. Of course, it's easier said than done because Frog Puppet had to burn a Bushi on himself to keep himself safe, since he actually does not have... He hasn't increased his HP yet, I don't think. Ben finding himself put his way back to Girl 1 again. He's actually going to go ahead and bind this contact lens, which is 1 point. And it looks like he's going to go ahead and get himself a trial stew. I'm not exactly sure for what. Maybe just to get himself into danger or when the time comes. But he's just going to put his coins right back up to max with selling a badge, and then he'll be out of this room. Frog Puppet finding his way to Uso 1, and the sequence changed, which means that he actually does have the black key for this cursed chest. That sequence number will always change to 185 if you're holding the key for that chest. Goombella is a backup, yes. Because she hits twice. So with 8 Mega Rushes, that would be 82 damage. Not as fast, but yeah, I'm not exactly sure why Frog Puppet didn't ground pound there. I think he miscalculated his damage and didn't think he'd actually do enough. And I'm 100% sure that Bushi was actually meant for Yoshi. He didn't actually mean to use it on Mario. Well, no, more like 99.5%. So both players have yet to actually break 100 this run just yet. Frog Puppet still has plenty of time to find another boss. He's in a comfortable position right now. Ben will have to fight 2 bosses to actually pass Frog Puppet right now. And this chest is actually going to go ahead and bump him up to 70 points. Frog Puppet going ahead and getting himself a follower, which this happens to be Frankly this time. Going down the pipe in front of Frankly's house and going through the red door, the entrance to the Bogley tree will actually have a follower appear by your side, which is 2 points. And Frog Puppet actually loses it, because this battle, Crump actually kind of eats your... Well, not physically eats your follower, but your follower disappears upon entering this cutscene, and you don't get it back afterwards. So that follower is actually gone. You can't actually get him back by going through the pipe or going through the door again, but you cannot have more than one. Ben actually going ahead and grabbing him, getting the champ's belt. You will always get a chance belt in this room if you have defeated Rockhawk once. If you defeat him once, you get a chance belt, and then you have to defeat him again to get another one. Frankly did not care. Frankly's just gone. He doesn't want to deal with this. He has books to read. Frog Puppet actually trying to think of what he wants to do here, which he's been doing in a lot of fights. I'm not exactly sure how experienced Frog Puppet is with this strategy, because I have not actually watched him use Mega Rush P that much myself. And this is actually going to be really risky, because once Crump actually heals himself, he's going to do that little wheelbarrow attack with his men. And that will hit both of you, unless he super guards with Yoshi. Oh, Yoshi gets lucky. He doesn't even have to worry about it. Uh-oh. Can Yoshi get lucky again? He's using a shooting star. Yoshi actually doesn't get lucky this time. Yoshi gets KO'd. He may actually just go ahead and Bushi himself. Crump only has 30 HP. And he has Supernova to go ahead and do 15. Ben, on his side, actually ground pounding that panel. The panel in that cage actually triggers Punio's text, which is why your sequence actually drops down to 106. Basically, events that actually trigger a character to say something or actually force something to happen will change your sequence. That being said, there's only so few things that actually lower it. There's plenty of things like upon entering rooms for the first time, if your sequence is low enough to actually jump it up. And Ben's actually going to go ahead and fight Grotus yet again. So it looks like Frog Puppet is going to go ahead and use the Crystal Star. If Ben can actually take both of these out really quickly, he will take the lead. Even though it looks like Frog Puppet will most definitely have this battle in the bag. So he's going to be at 95 at the end of this. And Ben's seeming trying to figure out what he wants to do with Bobbery. He's going to go ahead and use the Thunder Rage to take out all the Grotus X's so they won't be flying at him this turn. Frog Puppet is going to have to be really careful here. And Crump is down, actually, so he does not have to worry about a thing anymore. He can take these 10 points and heal up. Good on you, Frog. And Ben's actually going to go ahead, is actually going to get a level up off of this fight. So he's going to have to reset it for danger again. But he does have that Trials Steal. This may have been his actual purpose for buying such Trials Steal. Because upon use, you can only use it in battle. It drops your HP to 1, your FP to 0, and it fully recovers your star power. Its main use in this is actually just to get you or your partner into peril, or into danger in Ben's case. Frog, you took out Crump, man. You got your 10 points. I'd still keep going if I were you, though. After this, if Ben can actually find himself one more quick boss, he will definitely take the lead. Frog is running out of time to actually fight another boss. He's got almost under 2 minutes left. Most of them take about a minute and a half. Frog Puppet is going to take the option to leave this room, which is a good decision, because when you're in boss time, you don't want to be spending any time actually grabbing like chests, shine sprite blocks. The only items you want to be going for are the field items if you can hear a crystal star. And Ben's taking his time on this fight, which I do not blame him. And it looks like Frog might actually just take his time and get some level ups here. Each level up is actually worth 2 points. He doesn't have that much time to keep leveling up, but he should be able to get one off this fight, and if he's really quick, he should be able to get another one. That Clef being annoying and holding a P up, D down. Or P down, D up, rather. And Bowser is down on Ben's side. And this battle is going to nab him 8 points, and that's going to put him at 90. Frog Puppet might be able to nab himself another level up. I think he hears a crystal star. I actually don't have the audio on for myself, so you guys would definitely be able to hear it if I can't. Ooh, Ben actually finds himself Atomic Boo. Frog Puppet, this might actually be a tied game. If
Alrighty. Hi there. Ooh. That might. Holy crap. Shoo. Well, actual tie. Let's hope he doesn't drop a point item. So, yeah, I messed up pretty bad on that, but it's okay. You there?
Sorry, man, I forgot I put on push to talk.
Oh.
LOL. But yeah,
Alright.
I turned it off because of I changed it to push to cough because of my cough. So Ben has 30 seconds to find any key item. Any key item.
Yes,
Oh,
it's
Star
good.
Piece! He got it. Ben wins.
Ah.
Ben
man.
wins, and he gets himself a follower. Actually, Ben actually got the point he needed to win this match.
Yeah. See, the reason I lost that is because I didn't think through Shadow Queen right.
Yeah, you had on 8 Mega Rust Piece, correct? You could just take her out with Yoshi in one turn. She
Yeah,
does
I didn't.
156 damage.
I didn't know the strat very well. I just kind of did what I heard, but I was thinking I wouldn't have enough to take her that round, but that was bad thinking.
Yeah, if you got 8, you got just enough to take her out in one turn.
All right. Well,
Just for future note. Congratulations to Ben. Let me actually take a moment to pull up the scoreboard here, because I actually did not pull that up. I expected the Quantum to stay with me for a lot longer than he did, but that's fine. The man's tired, so. He gave me just a moment, and I will give dalerben the point. Alrighty, his point should pop up. There it is. Ben takes game 1 by very few points. He got that just in the nick of time. Like, I was expecting it to be a tie. I saw you actually going from
me
level
too.
ups there to get those get some extra points there in the end. It just didn't come out on, just didn't get him in there in time, unfortunately.
yeah. I thought I had that, but he got some good luck right at the end. All right, next time, don't be stupid on Shadow Queen, because I've been stupid on Shadow Queen in every tournament game. Even
I'll
though
just say
I've been great at it on my practice runs. So
I just noticed both players actually ended in a battle.
yeah.
I will say, Mike, there's a lot to this randomizer, to the point where people make mistakes in this, quite often actually, especially in a tournament match, because the pressure's on, where you can't reset the run if it's unlucky. You actually have to take what you have. And playing in a tournament is a lot different than actually just playing casually.
Oh yeah.
So you're trying to make sure you don't make any mistakes, and people try hard enough to the point where sometimes they accidentally make a mistake or two, just because they're trying to be, they're trying very hard on it. So it's difficult for sure.
I'd be interested in what my next room was. It could have been Atomic Boo, totally.
Ben actually pulling Atomic Boo.
Yeah.
Got him that.
Yeah.
Alrighty. So we should be able to start game 2 here.
Yeah. Give me like 15 seconds. I gotta use the restroom.
I don't think Ben's actually going to say anything. Ben doesn't actually voice chat that much. So
I'll be right back.
it's alrighty. And as soon as you can go ahead and drop out then. And as soon as both players give me the ready, and when Frog Puppet is back, we shall start game 2. That's a very interesting ending position on Ben's part, for sure. All right, Ben, no pressure. You don't have to hop in if you don't want to, You don't have to give any post-game commentary. Just, you can hop in if you want to, man. His hand looks like it's like reached around and it's just gonna honk his nose. And Frog Puppet is ready. As soon as we get Ben's ready, we can actually go ahead and start the countdown for the second match. I'll say that was honestly an interesting match for sure. It goes to show that if you're not completely ready by the time bosses come in, then you're gonna have a hard time if you actually spawn into a boss. Because if you either you don't have your badges, or you don't have your levels, or you don't have your items, being unprepared can cost you a lot of time. It's best to spend some extra time in a shop. Kind of like how Ben did, but he didn't leave himself that much time to level, to make sure you actually get all your badges and your items before leaving your shop. And again, we're just waiting for dalerben to actually give us the ready, and then we will start the countdown. And if you're just now tuning in between matches, this is the Paper Mario the 1000-Year Door Extreme Randomizer 1 Hour Challenge, where both players actually have 1 hour to get as many points as they can. They get points for various things, such as key items, having coins, and leveling up, and especially defeating bosses. You can type exclamation TTYD rules to see a full list of what they can get, and you can get a link to the TTYD Randomizer Discord, which you can go to the Randomizer info tab to see exactly what gives what points. And the game 2 should now begin. The countdown is done. It'll take a moment for their streams to catch up. It shouldn't be too long before we start seeing some gameplay. And there we go. Ben started his, and now Frog Puppet is actually... Now he's starting his. And they are off. So a good suggestion that Ben could do differently in this one is actually leave the shop a bit earlier and actually get his items. And Ben actually gets a gold bar right off the bat. And I think that was a Jelly Ultra on top of the roof, if I'm not mistaken. Frog Puppet is actually going to stay here and reload for this item that you can see right there behind the waterfall. It was a Jelly Ultra. Good 250 coins. 350, excuse me, starting with counting the 100 that you start with. So he has a good money to start right off the bat. As far as what Frog Puppet can do differently, if he goes with the same strategy again, he is relatively new to that strategy that he tried doing. So now that he knows that how much damage Yoshi actually does, he can actually one-turn Shadow Queen if he gets back to that point again. MRI00 not playing favorites. Frog Puppet is going to go ahead and walk through this room. There's an item behind the bush and the one that he also just got, but right behind the chair. There is a third item in this room that's in the blue house, I believe, but you need to get behind the building to actually grab it. So that item is obviously not really considered in this. And Ben's doing his thing. He likes to hit this cacti candy cane thing. I really do not know the actual name for it. But every time you reload the room, you can hit it 10 times again for another item. Another room that's like this is MUJ04 with the coconut tree in the background. There's 2 coconuts on it, and every time you reload the room, the coconuts will respawn, and they will be 2 random items every time you pick them up. And one of the rooms in Pedalsburg, if I called it by its correct name, the bush that you shake in front of the house on the left side will actually keep respawning its item as well. And Frog Puppet actually getting back into DOU02 again. I wonder if he's actually going to stay here. It looks like he is. He might pull out Flurry and just get some star points here. It looks like he may just be reloading right here until he gets a good item. And he does, a Jelly Ultra really quickly. Not too much time spent there. And Frog Puppet finding yet another room. Tick 13 is another one of those rooms where you can just see the item every time you reload. So if it's something you don't really want to pick up, you can go ahead. You actually have to hold L and press B to reload your room in this. So that's exactly how these players are choosing their reloads. It's not random. The players are actually intentionally doing that. That is a command or feature for this randomizer that players like to use to their advantage. And Ben actually getting AGI 03, which it's a debatable room because you can see all 3 items every time you reload, but you have to wait for the crane to actually go over and grab said item. It's good in the beginning if you're actually looking for items to sell to shops, but if you're looking for a room to grind in, or if it's boss time, it's not really worth sitting here, even if you're going to go for a Crystal Star, because the crane takes so long to actually go grab the item and make its way all the way back.
And Frog Puppet finding himself the Boat Curse chest room is actually one of the nicer chests because you get the key for it in the same room. Whereas all the others, you have to have the key and then find said room. But the good thing about the rest of them is there are lower sequence numbers than this. So if you get the black key for the rest of them, it's always a nice sequence reset every time you enter the room.
And Frog Puppet taking them now very nicely. Ben picking up the last item here. And all 3 of them are actually sitting on the ground. I did not know that they would actually stay there while you're in the crane. And we got Waluigi on Frog Puppet's side. Can we get some Waz in the chat? So I believe Ben actually locked his loading zone there. You can press LY to actually lock your loading zone. Upon entering the room, it will always keep being random unless you A, either manually pick one, or B, press LY to actually lock it in place. So he can actually freely roam around this room and grab the items and go down that pipe for a follower, which will give him 2 points. As long as he doesn't lose it. It's still a lot of time in the run to actually lose your follower, but you can always get it back. I'm wondering if Frog Puppet is going to go ahead and grab the Super Hammer again. And he is. If you were here near the beginning of the previous game, the reason for grabbing the Super Hammer is so you can actually unlock the ability to fight Atomic Boo. Because for the Ultra Hammer, you have to actually get into the room with the Ultra Boots, and then actually get lucky enough to get back into Gore 01 after getting the Ultra Boots. So if you don't have the Ultra Boots before then, you might as well go ahead and grab the Super Hammer, so at least you know you'll have the ability to fight Atomic Boo. And if you actually do have the Ultra Hammer, you can leave the Super Hammer in the room, and every time you load back into this room, your sequence will actually drop, either go up to 139 or down to 139. Either way, it'll always return back to 139 if you leave the Super Hammer in this room. So if you actually get lucky enough to get the Ultra Boots early and get the Ultra Hammer early, this room is basically a free sequence reset every time you enter it. which item did it look like. There are actually items in here that are not in the vanilla game. The green skull looking one is Koopa Curse, which reduces, basically it slows all the enemies on, well, yeah, it basically slows all the enemies, so they'll have to wait 2 turns to actually attack. There's also the claw-looking one, which is trade-off, which actually increases your enemy's level, but not their stats to make them give more star points. And there are some other invalid, or they used to be called invalid items, but there's also other badges in here that are not in the vanilla game. They were just unused. Frog Puppet actually getting back to Goro 7. And he actually left the Super Boots too. I'm trying to catch up on his side after explaining what I just explained. Ben actually finding himself Chet Rippo. So now he doesn't have to worry about getting himself into danger anymore. Because his HP, this is essential for Power Rush strats, because now his HP will always be in danger. Frog Puppet finding himself a nice crystal star there. And each crystal star you pick up is actually worth 2 points. And an interesting thing to note, if you notice on Bed's side that he reloaded after hitting that blue switch, blue switches in this game are basically a one-time use. If you hit the switch and then you reload, you will actually... I'm sorry, is my connection messing up because the stream's actually having the buffer for me? Is my voice okay? Alright, I think I'm good here. But back onto the thing about the blue switches, they're one-time use, so many of them you can actually just hit and then reload the room, and their intended effect will already be activated. And Ben's actually going to stay here in DOU02. These guys have, I think it's either 80 or 85% chance for all 4 of them to be blown away. And even if you don't get all 4, you can they only have 6 HP. So they're not exactly that hard to take out, even if 1 or 2 do stay behind. It looks like Ben's just not going to bother with... He's not going to test his luck and stay there. Fair enough.
Frog Puppet finding himself one of the best shops in the game. Because on this shop, you can actually reload in the center. And every time you reload, you will actually see all 6 items upon entering. The only one that's a lot better than this is MRI 07, which is a shop in the Boggly Tree. And the shop in there, you can actually see, you can also see all the items, but you're much closer. In this map, you actually have to walk up to the shop if you see something that you like. Plus, the fact that it's a bit far away and you have the umbrella in your way, the second and third item on the left are a bit hard to see unless you move over a little bit.
Okay, I'm glad my audio is fine because, like I said, the stream was buffering for me a little bit. And it looks like Frog Puppet is actually going to try again with the Mega Rush P. Now that he knows what he can do for Shadow Queen, that battle shouldn't be hurting him anymore. And he did make a few mistakes in the last match, and I'm pretty sure he's going to be very quick to correct them this time. And he actually has his point swaps too. And the reason for the point swaps is using the first item when you have 5 FP will actually drop your FP to 1, and then you use your point swap on your partner, just for an easy parry without actually having to set anything up. Another item you can use is Trial Stew, but you won't actually have FP after using that. Frog Puppet has himself an upside down Yoshi. And Ben's going ahead and selling off his badges so he can go ahead and get those max coins. And he'll be perfectly fine on money for this run. A little interesting thing to note about AGI 13 is you used to not be able to actually use that airplane panel without having the curse, but there was a patch where it actually got it would be activated for you regardless of whether or not you actually have the curse, so you can fly over and grab that card key. Ben finding himself a nice gold bar, so now he's really going to be good on money. Even after buying his items, he should have enough items to just sell and get his money right back up to max.
And Frog Puppet himself going to go ahead and sell his badges to get himself a nice amount of money as well. So both players should have a good amount of money, especially since Frog Puppet has actually already bought his Mega Rush Ps. That is a big portion of his coins that he doesn't actually have to worry about anymore. And he has that nice return postage to sell for 500 coins at once.
It's not necessary, but it's nice to just get those 500 coins out the way without having to go back through these text boxes over and over and over again. Alright, there we go. I was waiting for the moment where he was actually just going to go ahead and sell it. So it looks like Ben might do what we saw him do in the first match, which is actually blow up that rock so he can actually see that item upon reloading. Frog Puppet actually going to go ahead and grab that item in the bandit house this time. I think at the beginning of this run, Frog Puppet actually just grabbed the item on the right side and then took off without actually checking the rest of them, which is fair. You don't have to actually check all the items in the room when you first start. Some players prefer to, some players don't. It's really a personal preference thing. And Ben might actually stay here and grind here. The thing about Mu 06 is this one on the right side can have either 2, 3, or 4. And I'm not sure, but I think one of them in the room always has 3. So it's usually good to just stick with that one. That way you'll be guaranteed 3 each time. But it's fair enough if you want to stay for the one on the right. You have a chance for 4, which is you get that extra bit of star points when you have 4 monsters on the enemy side instead of 3. In the room that Frog Puppet is in, it does have a little cheeky way of getting out of the room without actually using that key, which is going to show off right here. You jump on top of the chest, hover over, and you can just barely touch that loading zone and actually get out of the room. Getting out of the room with that key so you can save that point. I don't remember exactly who found that, but before that, people just used to use the key just to get right back out of the room. So Ben gets his first level up and he's going for FP. Which is fair. He used Chet Rippo to get his BP up. He's going to go ahead and grab that Jelly Ultra, which is actually very nice. I never really seen anybody actually do that before, blow up that rock so they can see that item. But now Ben should have an easy time getting the rest of his level since he doesn't have to worry about recovering his FP between battles as much, as long as he keeps getting 3 and 4. Ben gets a nice little black box around the damage there. I'm not sure what caused that. That was interesting to see.
So I think Ben is actually pretty set. He may have to stay here and actually overlevel. His sequence is not that high. If his sequence was like in the late 300s, he would probably want to leave and go get a sequence reset before bosses spawned. But his sequence is looking pretty good right now. Sequence basically is where you are in the story. And 246, I believe that's chapter 5. Yes, because I'm pretty sure 246 is when you got the boat curse. But still, the lower your sequence, the more chances you have to run into more bosses. So if you load into boss rooms when your sequence is too high, just like if you were to go back in there in the vanilla game, they just won't be there anymore. Frog actually going ahead and picking up these super boots, which means if he gets back into MRI 17, which is the cage that Crump captures you in the Boggly Tree, ground pounding that panel will actually drop your sequence down all the way to mid-chapter 2. And Frog Puppet actually getting the best of the moon rooms, because this one on the right is always a guaranteed 4. I'm wondering why does he has point swaps. He could use point swaps on Koops right there. He has point swaps. He doesn't have to use double dip right now. He had 1 FP. So yeah, now he's gonna run away to put that double dip badge back on so he can drop down to 1 FP. Oh, no, he's just gonna leave. Very unfortunate. He didn't actually have to increase his FP there. He had 1 FP. And even without double dip, he could use Gulp on Yoshi, run away, switch out for Koops, and then use the point swap again. He doesn't necessarily need double dip to get your partner into peril. But again, I think Frog Puppet's still relatively new to using point swap to get your partner into Mega Rush. So I believe that if he does win this one, he'll probably need a little refresher on how to actually use it properly. Ben normally always opts for Power Rush and Power Bounce. I don't think I've ever seen Ben actually use Mega Rush, or Mega Rush P for that matter. So Ben knows what he's doing. In which I will say Power Rush and Power Bounce is pretty much the most common strat for this. Mega Rush and Mega Rush P require a lot more, micromanaging to make it work. Oh yeah, I do want to say if a Cleft actually does have a life shroom, as we saw earlier, the life shroom will actually be used on it. They're not meant to carry life shrooms, but they will respawn. Well, not really respawn, but their HP will recover, but they'll actually still be upside down, and they'll still charge attack while being upside down. And I will mention that Frog Puppet actually did get the Ultra Boots there. So if he finds his way back to Gore 01, he can go ahead and grab the Ultra Hammer. Not exactly necessary. He does have the Super Hammer. So at this point, this is basically a free point. Ben going ahead and topping off his coins once again. And a little fun fact about Jelly Ultras in this room. Jelly Ultra is an item that sells for 150 coins, but in this shop specifically, it actually sells for 200. That being said, the Whack-A-Bump has varying prices too. I forget what shop it sells for 64, but I think in the train it sells for 100. Correct me if I'm wrong, I'm not exactly sure on those numbers. And Ben actually getting really lucky with this shop and getting the rest of his power rushes right away. This is, the shop that Ben's in is not exactly great. It's on the same tier with like Bamo 2 and like the Petal Metals one where you have to walk up to the shop, and even after you enter it, you don't see the items. The shop that Frog Puppet's in is pretty much the third behind the Heel Hall Key shop and the Boggly Treat shop.
because you can enter on the left. You can see 5 items because the one in the 5th spot is blocked by the door, and the one on the far right and the 4th item from the right. No, pardon me, 3rd item from the right are a bit like you can see them just a little bit, but not fully. So it looks like Ben is actually just going to go ahead and stay in this shop to get the rest of the items he needs, which is fair enough. As we've seen in their first match, getting caught in a boss without actually being fully set up is not a fun thing at all. Because it would take you a while to actually take out the boss if you're not properly set up for it. So I know Frog Puppet has his Mega Rush Ps, he has his point swaps. He may be looking for Double Dip here and Boost Sheets if he doesn't have them already. Because he did run away from Moon 1 earlier. Presumably because he wasn't sure exactly how to get his partner back in the peril without Double Dip. Yeah, so looking at Ben's inventory right now, it does look like he is looking for those Boost Sheets. Did he just get a bunch of them? Because looking at Ben's inventory right now, it doesn't look like he actually has any. He has a lot of Thunder Rages. Unless he stored all of them. Pardon me if I do miss a thing here or there. I am switching my attention back and forth between a lot of them. Frog Puppet, it does have Boost Sheets, though. Yeah, Frog Puppet is the one with the Boost Sheets. And Boost Sheet is what Ben is looking for before he takes off for bosses. Boost Sheet is basically that safety net, so you can make sure you don't get hit, because you do only have 5 HP. And if you don't have Last Stand on and you get hit by a pretty strong attack, unless you have life shrooms, it's pretty much game over right there. And if this is your first time watching this, and you just came in recently, welcome to the stream. This is Paper Mario 1000 Year Door Extreme Randomizer 1 hour challenge, where both players will have 1 hour to get as many points as they can. They can get points for various things, such as key items, coins, leveling up, and especially defeating bosses. If you'd like to see a full list, you can type !TTYD rules, and it'll give you a list of what they can get for points, but not the actual numbers. You can click on the link after you type in the command to go to the Discord, and the exact number of points you get for the listed things will be in the randomizer info. And of course, we're always welcoming of new people. So if you find this enjoyable and you want to give it a go, there's actually instructions in there to install this yourself. And now back to the game. Ben is actually finally getting those Boost Sheets himself, and not too much time wasted. Because after those 20 minutes, bosses are out. And that's when you want to be running from room to room to actually getting those bosses. But still, 6 minutes in, not too bad. Oh, and I apologize. Actually, looking at the command, it doesn't give the full list when you type !TTYD rules, but there you can still go to the Discord and there will be a full list in there. As far as what Frog Puppet is doing, Frog and Ben are both basically doing the same thing. I'm not exactly sure what Ben is looking for on his part, but Frog Puppet is basically, you press LB, L and B to reload the room, And every time you reload a shop, they will be stocked with different items. I know Frog Puppet, I almost said Frog Puppet. Frog Puppet has Mega Rush Ps, he has some items, he has point swaps, but the badge he's missing is Double Dip. When it works into that strategy, because if you keep your FP at 5, when you use Double Dip, it's 4 FP. And you have to use one item for your FP actually drops to 1. So you use a random item, use a point swap on your partner, and then they're into easy peril. And you still have your FP. And there goes Frog Puppet actually grabbing it himself. This comment will be a bit delayed because I am saying it as I watch the Twitch chat, but he should actually know Frog Puppet still needs his level, so he's got to be a bit careful here. Because he did get into Moon 01 earlier, but he didn't actually have many means of getting his partner into peril, or he doesn't exactly have practice of getting his partners into peril. There are many ways to get him into peril without actually having to use an item on them, but you actually have to know the damage values and actually know the enemy attack patterns and if they use items or not, because in this, all enemies are actually holding random items, but some enemies are not actually programmed to ever use items, like, ever. So you actually have to know what it varies between enemy to enemy, depending on which room you actually decide to grind in. So again, much like the first match, both players are spending some time into which they could be using to find bosses, still preparing for those bosses. Frog Puppet finds himself AGI 13. I wonder if he's actually going to stay. And he does. This X0 PhD actually always has 4 with them. So it's a perfect grinding room. He may use 2 Earthquakes here, or I know he has a Crystal Star. I'm pretty sure he has at least a Garnet Star, because he has 7 star power. So he may just use double Earthquake, because they do have 9 HP. Other rooms that you can grind in the same way are BOM 04. The Frost Piranha in the middle on the right side actually always has 4. There's also the very common one where Moon 01 the Moon Clefts on the right side always have 4. There's DOU 02 where there's always 4 embers in the middle of the room, or pardon me, lava bubbles. There's LASL 7, which isn't exact, they don't have 4, but all 3 enemies in there. There's 3 enemies in the room, and all 3 of them have 3, and they're chapter 8 enemies. So they still give you a decent amount of star points. There's that. There's the second from the Boo, or the second from the Boo on the second from the top left in the Poshley Heights Mansion also has 4, which is not known to many players. And LAS 01, there's always 4 Vampire Bats on the right side. Frog Puppet's actually going to have to take this one out manually. Shouldn't be too much of a problem, though. They do only have 9 HP. Yeah, he should be able to take it out on this turn. And Ben is still looking for whatever item he's looking for. He might be looking for a reliable way to get into danger, like Trial Stews or Point Swaps. He has his Power Rushes. Actually, as a matter of fact, I don't think he has his Power Bounce. I think that's what he's still looking for. So Frog Puppet is going to go ahead and turn on that double dip now. Which does play a big part if you're going for Mega Rush P.
And Ben has spent more than 10 minutes at this shop. It is unfortunate when you run out of time, essentially. When the bosses are out, you do not, like as I said before, you do not want to run into a boss when you're completely unprepared. So players will usually opt to take whatever shop they get. Unfortunate for Ben, he got a pretty low tier shop. The only two that are basically below this one is the Rogueport shop. Basically both of them, because you have to walk all the way over to them. And the one in the room with the Ultra Hammer only has 5 if your sequence is late enough, because one of them's always going to be replaced by the empty contact lens spot if you have already purchased it. So Ben finally finding that power bounce. It took him a long time, but he finally got it, and now he's finally prepared. Pardon me there. He's finally fully prepared. Frog Puppet will be fully prepared here very shortly, as soon as he gets his levels. And he might go for 12 BP. Last match we saw him going for 15 to equip P up, D down. Sorry, I said that backwards again. P down, D up for your partner. Because any environmental damage, basically when they're on 1 HP, will just spell death for your partner. Oh, that PhD actually has a return postage. I wonder if Frog Puppet will notice. He may just go ahead and use 2 earthquakes here. He doesn't want to send Koops flying right into that. Koops going to take a lot of damage. Ben finding himself, honestly, the first boss that we have seen this match. Bosses are worth 10 points. Yep. Frog Puppet went right into that one. It's okay, he has a life stream though. Koops is right back on his feet, and he's just gonna go ahead and take this guy out. If it'll stop dodging his attacks. Alright, so despite both players having taken a long time to get fully set up, they are pretty much neck and neck. Because Frog Puppet, after this level up, he's going to equip the last of his badges, and he should be good to go. Now they're finally over with the setup phase. The rest of it, they're just basically going to be running through bosses. Taking all the sequence lowers they can to ensure that they have the chance to run into as many bosses as possible. Ben finding himself the Ultra Boots now. Even though I'm not really sure if he has a Super Hammer or not. He's pausing his menu while he's going to the party menu, so I can't see just yet. Ben, might have soft-locked himself there. He might have to reset. Yeah. There are some moments where if you try to perform another action, there is a code in this that was implemented in this to press LZ to immediately dismount Yoshi. But if you do that while performing another action at the exact same time, Mario will just get stuck in that weird crouching position. So even though Ben did get 1 boss, Frog Puppet still has plenty of points coming in from other things. But that does not matter at this time. It all comes down to who can find the bosses and who can defeat them the quickest. dalerben has his... Ooh, Frog Puppet actually finding a nice crystal star there. Ben finding himself a nice sequence reset with the super boost, which is also a point in itself. Ben finding another key item.
Alrighty, Ben has found himself Grotus now. As far as the 10 points goes, for the bosses, the Grotus and Bowser battles are exceptions. As you fight them back to back, both of them are actually worth 8 points. So in total, you can get 16. And they do give a total of, I believe, 92 star points between both battles. So as long as you're over 8 star points, you're pretty much guaranteed for a level up at the end for an extra 2 points to top it off. And unfortunate for Ben, I think he has Bobbery out, which he actually cannot bomb one of the Grotus X's, even though he is close to the ground. So yeah, he's just going to use the Thunder Rage to take him out. Fair enough. Even though you do only need to break one Grotus X for the shield to actually drop. You do not have to take out all 4 on the same turn. And down goes Grotus, nice and easy. Frog Puppet having a hard time getting any boss right now. Ooh, I'm not actually sure if Frog Puppet had the key for that curse chest. Oh, he goes right into Shadow Queen. And now that he's corrected his mistake from last time, he should be able to take out Shadow Queen very easily. I believe Ben used Power Bounce there. Yes, he did, but he only bounced twice. He mistimed the last action command, so now he's gonna have to spend an extra turn in this battle. And Frog Puppet actually getting that weird bug. Like, for some reason, every now and then, your partner just goes completely missing. And if you enter a boss cutscene, it automatically swaps out for Goombella. Not that it matters much, because you can still use Double Dip P on Goombella to actually activate the next phase of Shadow Queen. And then you can just swap out Yoshi on Goombella's turn to fight after. So it's not that big of a deal. It's just really awkward to just randomly have Goombella out. And I don't think also using point swap for your first item does work. It's weird, because I had someone test it for me and they said it didn't work like that. Which is fine, I suppose. Well, you learn something new every day, I suppose. Ben's is gonna move right along, hopefully find a sequence reset, or he can find Shadow Queen himself. Shadow Queen is also possible with this sequence. Other bosses that are possible are Atomic Boo, because they pretty much exist outside of the sequence, so to speak. Same with Rockhawk. Because even if your sequence is low when you go into Duplus's mansion, as long as you grab the key that's on the top left, when you reload the room, your sequence will be at 198, which is good enough to spawn Atomic Boo. Honestly, I don't think enemies are actually programmed to use the Fright Mask. Even if they are, I'm not sure exactly what would happen. Frog Puppet will want to be careful here. He may as well... Yes, he's going to use the Bushi on himself with Mario and just hopefully attack with Yoshi. Yeah, because you don't want something like this to happen. It's a good thing you used it with Mario instead.
Frog Puppets has become... He's dropping frames. Okay, he's back. That was really weird. I hope I'm not the only one that saw that. I know... Well, no, I'm pretty sure that wasn't just me. It seemed like something happened there on Fog's stream, where his internet flubbed for a sec. So, fun fact, this cutscene for Shadow Queen used to be slightly larger, slightly longer, where you would actually see the crystal stars fly off into the sky. You wouldn't see them go to, you know, to each different town. But that was just recently cut out in a recent update, so just to make this scene a bit faster. So Ben does have more points right now, but as soon as Frog Puppet takes out Shadow Queen, he will be in the lead once again. Shadow Queen gives 25 points, which is a fair amount because it does take a few minutes to actually defeat her. The Frog Puppet going ahead and using a Boo Sheet first. He's going to use Point Swap on Yoshi. Yoshi should be able to take her out in one turn here, granted he has on all the necessary Mega Rush Ps. And he does. Alright. That is Shadow Queen gone nice and easy. Ben frantically changing room to room to room. You gotta love when you find the magical map in a chest, because the item is not actually in there until you open the chest. So if you get like a crystal star, or if it's the magical map, it'll just be poking out of the chest as soon as you open it. Ooh, Frog Puppet actually finding himself Rock Hawk. One of the only two bosses he could have found at this sequence. That's going to be another easy 10 points for him. As low as the probability seems, it actually is possible to level up on Shadow Queen in this. Take my word for it. Dalerben unfortunately didn't have either hammer yet again. Because he likes to leave that super hammer behind for that reset, but honestly I don't even think he actually got it this run. And Ben finding Emerio9, grabbing the blue key out of this chest will trigger Punio. When he's with you, it'll trigger him to say that you can go free everybody. And then you're supposed to go free everybody because the next cutscene that's supposed to play is when you enter the cage. The room with the cages, the colorful cages. Hence why your sequence drops down to 98 after getting that key. Frog Puppet taking down the big bad squishy Rock Hawk in one turn. Everyone really seems to love that guy, but he gets beaten so easily. You can even argue that the Dark Koopa Troll right before him is stronger. Might not have 40 HP, but has a good amount of attack and more defense, and a spike on his head. Oh yeah,
Bonetail is actually a probable third boss, regardless of sequence. Possible third boss. It's a 1 in 17,000 chance. Because there's 170 rooms, and the pit is actually like its own room. So if you get rolled into the pit, it'll put you on a random floor between 1 and 100. So not only do you have a 1 in 170 chance to actually get the pit, you have a 1 in 100 chance after that to actually land on floor 100. That's multiplying them both together. That's 1 in 17,000 chance.
Ben going ahead and just grabbing this key and shoving off for that extra point.
Frog Puppet grabbing himself the Ultra Hammer, as I spoke about earlier, just getting that free point because he already has the Super Hammer, so it's not going to unlock anything new for him per se. And as people always do in Goro 1, is to go ahead and sell your badges to top off your coins. Frog Puppet finding himself LAS-09, but he still needs to drop that sequence down. LAS-09 is the Shadow Sirens 2 fight, which you can actually use Coops, which is why I personally use 8 Mega Rush Ps. You can use Coops in that fight and point swap him and use Power Shell to actually take out all 3 of them in one turn. And Ben actually finding Crump 2. Prologue Crump is actually not possible in this, for anyone wondering, because you actually start in sequence 8, and your sequence is actually past the first room you actually start in the game. In the vanilla game, rather. Oh yeah, that's actually true, E-Tap. It's actually Luigi versus Waluigi right now. Frog Puppet, for some reason, walking all the way to this door, even though you can reload to the east or to the west. And unfortunately, Frog Puppet still does not have that key. I don't think Frog Puppet has actually gotten Tickle 4 at all yet this run. Still plenty of time to actually go back in there and hit that staircase switch, as long as grab the black key. Tickle 4 is basically your heaven when you want to reset your sequence. Not only can you get the black key, which will open up the curse chest, which is a future sequence reset. That blue switch in there actually drops your sequence down to 14, which actually allows you to fight Blooper, as well as Gold Fuzzy. Even though Gold Fuzzy is pretty rare, you have to have both the Moonstone and the Sunstone when you load into the first, the little underground room. And only then will you actually be able to fight Gold Fuzzy. And he is worth 10 points if you actually defeat him. Frog Puppet making his way all the way up for this Palace key, but his sequence is at 405, so none of these keys are going to be there. According to the sequence number, he's presumably at the end of the game, or at least the game surely thinks so. Which is what the sequence number is. It's basically where you are in the story, 405 being post-game, after Shadow Queen. Sequence 400 is the Shadow Queen fight, sequence 405 is post-game. Ben still not having that hammer for Atomic Boo. Luckily for Frog Puppet, though, because he is stuck at this sequence. The great thing about Shadow Queen is, yes, it gives you 25 points. But then if you don't find a sequence reset very soon, you're not going to be fighting any bosses anytime soon.
Ooh, and he gets a pit room. It's not a difficult pit room. Those boos only do have 9 HP. So granted, if he does have 2 items he can just use on these guys, he can take them out very easily. Which he actually does not. So he's gonna have to be really careful here. Because he does not want Mario dying. He could use Gulp on one of them. That will take out 2 of them. He decides to run away. He decides to play it safe. That's fair enough on him. And Ben actually getting Tick 04, the room I was talking about. He will actually grab this black key and hit this staircase, which will drop his sequence to the lowest you can reset it to. If Frog Puppet might want to, yes, take out Koops. Since they are all to the ground, using Double Dip and this using it on Koops, he will actually be able to get rid of all of them in one turn. Yet he still does not have that sequence to actually find another boss, unfortunately. And opposite can be said for the other side. Ben actually does have the low sequence, and he actually does run into Smorg. So things are not looking good for Frog Puppet right now. Frog Puppet needs to get lucky and find the sequence reset, and fast, before Ben actually starts pulling ahead a lot. And Smorg is down for Ben's side, so that's going to be an easy 10 points for him. An extra 2 to top it off with the level up that he just got just now. Poor Frog Puppet. He was in such a good position. Fortunately, he has not seen a single... No, he got Rock Hawk. But other than that, he hasn't seen a single boss since he actually fought Shadow Queen. And it's unfortunate. It is a randomizer. So there is always that chance that you just won't be able to find anything for a little while. And it's really unfortunate when it does happen. Ben finding himself his 4th Grotus of the night. This man just loves wailing on Grotus. Or more like he's getting his revenge on Grotus. Unfortunately, Frog Puppet did pick up the key in this room, so his sequence reset is actually gone 06, not gone 07 anymore. Which again is very unfortunate. You can't exactly predict that you're going to load into Gone 07 or Gone 06 later. That's not exactly his fault. Because there's no way of telling if you're actually just going to get back to that after fighting Shadow Queen. Frog Puppet has unfortunately spent an unbelievably amount of time just running through rooms. Because Shadow Queen basically nuked his sequence. Can't help but just feel bad for Frog. He has his full setup ready. He just can't get any bosses to actually use it on.
Whereas Ben, despite having spent all of that time in the Twilight Town shop, is having an easy time finding these resets and finding bosses to top it off. Just a very unfortunate game for Frog Puppet. Very unfortunate. This may end up being his last match in the tournament, actually. No, he finally finds himself tick 04. After all this time, he finally goes back to the beginning of the game. Hopefully it's not in vain, though. Hopefully he doesn't shoot right back up to Shadow Queen. Possible, but let's just hope it doesn't happen. And he will actually have to reload to the west of that room. That loading zone actually does not exist behind that skull wall until you actually are in the sequence for it. So if you're in there in a very early sequence, you just have to reload to the west side of the room to leave it. Ooh, Frog Puppet yet finding another pit room. And on Ben's side, he's actually finding himself another sequence reset. Ben is just getting everything Frog wants right now. This has just been a very unfortunate string of luck for Frog. Extremely unfortunate. Especially when you're in a tournament match, you do not want this kind of stuff happening to you. Well, yeah, if Frog gets Shadow Queen, he'll pull ahead, but Ben still has 5 minutes to find a whole lot of bosses. Chapter 8 alone has a handful of them. His sequence is only in Chapter 3 right now. Well, now it's in Chapter 4. Now it's in... He's got the, he actually never used this key. He left it for a sequence reset. So now it's in mid-Chapter 5. But he still gets 6 points off of that. Frog Puppet, on the other hand, finally finding another boss. And he should be able to take Magnus out extremely quickly. Even though his progress will be set to the end of Chapter 7, he can still find a Chapter 8 boss. But he still has a lot of work he needs to make up, and he'll have to be really quick to actually make a comeback with this. This will actually give Frog Puppet a level up, though. This will put him at 111 after this. Yes, 111. He still needs to find those 2 coins back for an extra point as well. Frog Puppet needs to take every single point he can get right now if he wants a shot at a Game 3. And there is only 3.5 minutes left on Ben's timer. The timers do get desynced a lot because they actually pause between loading in different rooms. So the more you change rooms, the more your timer will freeze. And obviously that's going to throw both timers way out of sync. Besides, this isn't really as much of a speed run as more of it is a score attack. but you still got to be super quick to get a lot of points. Frog gonna take the cheesy way out of this room. Oh, he dropped the first time. If he can get back on top of the chest. And he got it that time. And Ben actually gets Shadow Queen. He will not actually have enough time to take her out. So he'll actually have to refuse her and get lucky and pull another boss. If not, that's going to be the end of Ben's run. If Frog Puppet actually finds a boss himself, this is going to put him at 121. He'll have to find another boss right after this if we want to see Game 3. Frog Puppet has plenty of time. He can actually make this happen. We might actually see a Game 3. Ben actually says no. Ben's gonna take off and try to get all the points he can. With 8 Mega Rush Ps, you can actually take out these guys in just one turn. Oh, Ben actually finding himself another curse chest. Now it's 134 to 111. And based upon his star points, Frog Puppet actually won't get a level up after this. So Koops will actually stay in peril. He will have to be aware that he only has 2 FP right now, though. He may want to quickly recover that if he has any FP items. Frog Puppet still does have plenty of time to come back, though. Ben has less than a minute and a half. Not many bosses he could actually take out, even if he does find a boss. This is very tense. All Frog Puppet needs to do, he needs to... Oh, and he gets a nice sequence reset. This is definitely possible. If Frog Puppet finds a boss and manages to take him out in time, he will definitely get that level up. He's so close to a level up. And then they'll both be tied. Oh, and Ben actually finds Dupless 2. Will he have enough time to actually take Dupless 2 out? That is the question. He only has 30 seconds. There's not much text to this at all, though. This is pretty much one of the shortest cutscenes out of all the bosses. So as soon as it starts, Ben might actually finish this fight with just enough time. Ben may have actually taken him out. He has 6 seconds to get through this. He does not. Ben actually doesn't make it through. He doesn't even get the points from the level up. Oh my god! Frog Puppet actually got Magnus too! This may be tied. Oh my god, if he actually gets through this, he has a whole minute and a half. He has plenty of time to get through this. I'm not exactly sure what's going to happen in the case of a tie, because if both players get a point, then Ben will still win. I will actually have to ask in the Discord what's going to happen, because unless Frog gets, like, his 10th badge, and actually gets a point out of it, they're both going to be tied at 134. Alright, Frog's dealing the final blow. They're both going to be tied for 134. I don't think we've seen a tie yet. And he'll have like 10 seconds to actually find a point somewhere. Not even. No, and he gets a dried shroom. Not even enough. Both players are tied at 134. I'm not exactly sure what's going to happen now. I'm going to have to ask in the Discord. Oh, yes, that's right. What happens is next point will actually win the match. I forgot about that. Sorry, I just switched back. So... Yep, basically, it's next point wins, and as soon as Ben actually hits that level up block, he wins. Come on, Ben. Hey. Should I just count down? Oh, let's just go to the Discord. I'll count down from 5, and then we'll see who gets the first point. As if we already don't know, but we gotta finish this in the proper way. Oh, Ben just did it without me. I just did a whole countdown in Discord for nothing. Alright, Ben actually won. I gotta pull up these commentator controls again. Give me just a second. There we go. That overtime didn't take long at all. Alright, Ben is our winner tonight. 2-0. Honestly, this is the first tie we had. First time we had, and honestly the overtime was pretty much already decided. Trying to figure it out. What's there to figure out? Basically, when both players are tied, they go into overtime, but
Hello.
As soon as Ben pressed that button, he got the points. Hey, Ben.
Okay.
Yeah, that was close once again.
You had that. You were just one button pressed away from winning it anyways, dude.
Yeah, that doesn't feel right to me.
Technically a tie, but not really.
Yeah. And the fact that in the first game, Grotus, I failed on Grotus, I was so worried about messing up again. I used the Bushi the 2 times I faced him.
What happened on that first Grotus fight? We were basically, almost nobody knew what happened. We just saw, like, game over on your side.
No, I don't know, my controller is a bit messed up, like, since, like, maybe a week or 2, and, like, the A button sometimes gets stuck, so I was afraid that happened, and I messed up because I was nervous about that.
So Frog Puppet, how'd you feel about that? Dude, you went so long after fighting Shadow Queen without finding another boss. Everyone started feeling bad for you. That was very unfortunate.
It's okay. I don't that. I'm mad because they lost, but that next point thing just seems too. Whatever. It's okay though. Congratulations, man.
I mean, that was the rule that was set when it was hosted.
Yeah, no.
But yeah, that overtime thing was pretty anticlimactic since we only needed one button press to actually win.
Yeah.
Like, had he had like 2 seconds left on his timer, just enough to hit the level up box, he would have won anyways.
Yeah, well, GG.
So we might have a different rule next tournament. I don't know. Depends on who hosts it and who makes the rules. Is there anything else you two want to add?
I hope everyone. Oh, sorry, Frog. Go ahead.
No, that was it. I don't have anything to add.
I know, right? Win said pause. Wait, pause, like in all caps in the chat, and he hasn't said anything.
Yeah.
Probably we went on, and then he was just like, "Oh, they continued anyway, so fuck it," you know.
Anyways, I hope all of you guys enjoyed watching, and I will go. You guys can go ahead and plug yourselves in if you want, or I can do it. Either way, we can go ahead and follow. You can follow these guys on their Twitch channel. I know Ben runs this. Frog Puppy, you stream this a lot too, right? I believe.
No, not really.
Oh well.
Yeah,
still follow him if you want to.
In the future, but yeah.
In the future, you're gonna follow him on the hope that he streams this later in the future.
I like the disappointment in your voice when Frog said he doesn't stream it that much.
It's like, oh. Well, still.
Well, I appreciate the shout out. Man, if I had 3 coins, holy crap.
Yeah, those 2 coins.
You dropped your coins when you ran away from that pit battle, and you didn't pick them back up.
I didn't think about that.
Oh.
I would have won it. Holy crap.
Oh yeah, you lost 2 coins short of that win.
Wait, just wondering, can you count your badges? Like how many different badges you have?
I did ask in the suggestions to add something like on the screen so you could see how many you have towards your next point.
No, yeah, I know it.
I had 29.
Isn't Frog Puppet just Kermit?
So if it was those
29 badges in the log.
So that means if the crystal star from Magnus 2.0 was a badge that you didn't have, that would have been a win too.
Yep.
It dropped his dry room. Very unfortunate. He got the legendary treasure, just not the treasure he wanted.
Yeah, that treasure sucks.
Anyways, I hope everyone really enjoyed this. And of course, feel free to join the Discord. We do talk about this a lot. And you can often find people that'll race against you and you can learn it. You know, people are always willing to help you learn this too if you want to pick it up and try playing it for yourselves. It's basically a different way if you want to play the 1,000-Year Door without actually just playing the vanilla game. You want to experience it in a whole new way, I'd highly recommend actually trying this out.
All right. Well, I'm off then. Good night, everybody.
Everybody have a great night. And again, thank you so much for watching us. I hope you enjoyed my solo commentary. O'Connor was with us for part of the first match, but he's had a rough night, so. And we'll actually, me and Aquan are going to have our second game, possibly third game tomorrow, since we had to end our match early. So stay tuned for that. And I don't think anyone's going to continue streaming this. Maybe Hero of Wins. I honestly have no idea where the dude went. But yeah, I don't really have anything else to add. So we're going to go ahead and end this episode and hand it back to Speed Gaming.
See ya.